So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ryan Mangan, and I'm come to kind of talk today about MSIX and the ongoing application challenge we have in industry. So this is a short session, just really a taster, where we're going to be talking about the ongoing challenges in applications, talking about MSIX and how we can kind of bring that all together in VMware App Volumes. So if you don't know who I am, jumping screens here. There we go. There's me, quickly. Obviously, follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter. I work with Microsoft at VMware, MVP, and so on and so forth. So I've been around a while dealing with applications. And I always ask the question, who's had application problems in their career? Who's had problems with apps, challenges preventing them to move to a new platform? There's always someone who raises a hand, right? It's one of those things. And if you didn't know, Microsoft released an article in 2018 which effectively detailed that there was over 7 trillion applications in the world. That's Windows apps. And the problem we have is as we move to new modern platforms, we still have these applications functioning. People want to move, people want to upgrade, but the sheer time and energy to develop isn't really as simple as we want it to be, right? So I recently did a poll out to packaging factories, out to people who do application packaging out globally. And what we're starting to see now is there is a transition to something called MSIX. So Microsoft announced in 2018 a technology called MSIX, which is effectively like AppV, it's bigger brother, but it is essentially containerization as well. So the application can read the main operating system, but can't write outside that container. So from a security perspective, this is great for old apps, because obviously you can control it, air gap it in a virtual environment, but at the same time you can also modernize using native Microsoft packaging technology. And as you can see there is a lot of people using MSI, everybody knows what MSI is, and you can see that MSIX is now at 30%. So people are transitioning their old AppV estates into MSIX, getting ready to then redistribute into the platform format of their choice. So a little bit about AppCure. So AppCure was founded in 2018 alongside, obviously, the introduction of MSIX. And what we tend to kind of focus on is you can spin a workspace up very quickly today. It doesn't take long. You can use any hyperscaler platform and get them machines running, okay? The challenge we're seeing, and we're talking to all these different organizations, is the application migration is not in lockstep. That is, you know, we're coming to these problems, we get 80% of the way there, and then we're stuck. And then we spend another 3 to 5 years trying to reinvent the wheel, write these software applications. But what if we could essentially align both the application migration and the workspace delivery? And this obviously ties into VMware App Volumes. And obviously what we're trying to achieve for the customers, and this is the thing, getting to production quicker is not just a benefit to the customer, it's a benefit to the partner, and it's a benefit to the vendor, because everybody can do more things. They can do more projects, people get paid quicker, and people can move on with their lives. So how can AppCure help? So AppCure can handle 16-bit applications in Windows 11, Server 22, and going backwards. SCCM extracts all the installation media out of SCCM, ready to be retransformed. MSIX, we have our own packaging, which I'll show you a demo of something quite unique called running capture. A little bit confusing because normally you have to have an install media. If you don't have installation media, AppCure can take care of that. So there's a whole wide portfolio of what we do, but today I'm just going to show you a glimpse of running capture into MSIX and then MSIX into App Volumes. So not just desktops, server apps as well. So we handle not just the EUC space, we also handle the server space. Being able to kind of take 16, 32-bit, and 64-bit applications and distribute them out into whatever kind of platform, workspace format you would like. And then obviously when we're looking at VMware App Volumes today, which is 10 million times better than AppStacks if we all go back in time. This technology is pretty clever and pretty good. We have 5 different ways. So we can do the running capture, which is no installation media. We'll grab it from all the way going back to 95, and then on to obviously the latest. You've also got install capture, so if you do have installation media. COTS apps, which is basically common third-party applications. VMware, AppV conversion, and also the SCCM, which I mentioned. Push them through into a process and then deliver them to App Volumes. So There's two steps when you go into App Volumes. The first is you need to use something which generates what we call MSIX app attach. So if anybody's aware of Microsoft's Azure Virtual Desktop platform, which Horizon plugs into, there's the ability to create read-only disks, which are applications which are known as attaching on log on or on demand. What VMware have kindly done with the App Volumes piece is enable that capability to go into the VMware App Volumes stack. There's just one extra step you've got to follow. So what we've been doing is we've been working with Jeff Italski, who's been fantastic in terms of obviously trying to improve the way we deliver applications in the Horizon stack. And we work very closely on trying to kind of speed up and improve that process. And what I'm going to do is give you a bit of a demo, if I can. Right, so first of all, I've got a very old application. Pretend this is an old machine, and it's Beyond Compare version 1.2. So going back a few years, right? I have a capture agent on this machine, and what I'm going to do is the application's running. Let's see if it actually runs the video. There we go. I'm going to go and basically fill out a few things. First of all, I've got two, input, output. Input is the source machine. I'm going to capture the application running. Output is where I'm going to use the packager and basically process that into an MSI format, into an MSIX format, into something also called a PSF folder. The PSF folder is for advanced stuff, which is called the Package Support Framework, which you can read up online. It's quite a boring topic, but we'll come back to that another day. So I'm just going to sort the folders out. And then we're going to go and then select the input folder, because we're going to go and capture this application running, right? So running Beyond Compare. List the application, find the application running in the processing list. And this is great for legacy, right? You're on like a Windows 95, Server 2000, all of these apps what need moving, and this can be on-net, off-net. It just gets them going. Essentially, even if they have to redevelop, you're buying them more time. It stops you having to have air-gap solutions, right? So literally, I've just captured an application, captured all the data and the details into a folder. The second step is to run the packager, which is basically the MSIX engine, the fix-ups, the database, all of the magic which basically goes along and makes this application work. And as all packaging machines, it's a wizard. You fill out a few bits of information and it goes through the process. So I select that input folder we created with the capture, known as program. So inside input, you'll see program. And then what I'll do is select where I want it to go, which is going to be that output folder. Obviously, source and destination, you can do it on the same machine, but naturally, if you're capturing from older, you'll have the older OS, and then you have the modern OS, which is going to be Windows 10 or Windows 11 for packaging. And then obviously, fill out what you want to do, add VB fix-ups and other things, and this will then run through a very simple wizard once we get going. It's a package. And there we go. So I click Create Package, and then that will basically go and create me an MSIX. Progress bars. 50% of your career watching a progress bar, right? So once this is packaged, I'll have 3 different folders shown at the bottom, and then obviously I can do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the MSIX, and we're going to then go and convert that ready for App Volumes. 2 steps. You can use the Microsoft packaging tool, which actually curates quite a few steps, or you can use AppCure, which has the full app attached suite, where we can very quickly prepare that. So once this is finished, I'll quickly show you the app attach piece, and we're still on time, so I'm doing okay today, even though I've got a fast 15-minute session. So there you go. So I've got the 3 outputs. We've got MSI, the program to the MSI, and then we've got the MSIX, which I'm installing now. And now that is running in a container which can't write to the operating system. It can only write to virtual. And there you go. That's an MSIX. Then the final step is I'm going to go and then take that MSIX, and I'm going to go and use AppCure Studio to produce my disk for App Volumes. So I'm going to specify the app I've packaged, and there's a little book that says Prepare for App Volumes, and then I'm going to select the output, and then I'm going to click Create. Simple as that. That will then produce the required disk, and then the final step, you know, obviously you wouldn't do all of this at once. This is why it's a bit kind of slow and drawn out, monotone. And once you've done that, we can then move on to using VMware App Volumes tool called Vol Manager to kind of produce the disk. And as you can see there, that's ready for App Volumes. And then the final thing, it says, so this is Vol Manager, which you would do in bulk, convert to MSIX app attach or convert for MSIX, is you select that disk we just created, And the problem is you can only do one app per disk with VMware App Volumes. With MSIX app attached, you can do multiple. So creates a little bit of a problem. But what you can do is if you use here where you basically reads the disk, you can choose the application you want to do. So you could copy that disk 5 or 6 times and then prepare for App Volumes if you wanted. But there you go. That is literally all ready for VMware App Volumes. So that's an MSIX running in a disk which will work in App Volumes today. And essentially, all that Volumes does is it applies inside the disk and outside the disk some metadata, and that allows the volume manager to kind of read all of the bits and bats so that it can actually be imported into Volume Manager. And essentially, what we're doing is we're taking all the legacy applications and we're basically porting them over in an MSIX format or native App Volumes format so that you can basically have a central kind of delivery mechanism out to your estates in the EUC place. And obviously, in this case, we're talking about Horizon and App Volumes. So summary. So first of all, running capture, the ability to capture an application while it's running, which is proprietary to AppCure. Going back to Windows 95, Server 2000, and then obviously taking that and porting it over into an MSI format or into an MSIX format. MSIX is here to stay. There's massive investment going on. And what's great is that you can push that into VMware App Volumes. So you can have native VMware App Volumes, and you can have also MSIX in App Volumes as well. So you can mix and match. So if you are transitioning App V, which has a high success rate, into MSIX, there's no reason why all your App V can't be MSIX, and then obviously anything else a little bit more tricky, I call three-headed Hydra applications, because there's so many different components going on. You can put them into native VMware App Volumes, which has an incredibly high success rate. I believe it's about 97% success. Objective of AppCure is faster outcomes. Everything you saw in the GUI, we have a CLI, which essentially you can automate. You put into any workflow pipeline. I've done it with Power Automate, whatever you want, and you can basically automate them processes. The only thing you have to do with running capture is you have to go around every source machine, and it doesn't need to be clean, it has to be dirty, it has to be an old machine, and you've got to capture the source data. Once you've got all that source data, you can then process it all in one go. And one of the big things as well, which is very difficult with some other kind of technologies, is we can do offline. And that is more information you can see here. Thanks very much.